to like know your like your background and like what made you want to like start this kind of startup, and also like what's your like business that's going on. Basically everything, but.
So my family was born in Thailand. I've been here all my life, but I did my schooling in international school, hence the American accent. Bachelor's in Australia and master's in Thailand as well as Chicago and Kellogg.
Oh wow.
So before that though, I think I really picked up this ability to sell and this. And I always feel like it's very important for any entrepreneur that has a sales skill. So my family comes from a long line of entrepreneurs. They started textile trading and properties, and they just sort of grew from there. They never really worked for anyone, so it's been like a 3-generation family business. And I'm the oldest son of the oldest son of the oldest son. So I don't know how it is in Japan, but Indian tradition almost dictates that you join the family business after a certain amount of time.
So were they expecting you to?
They were expecting me as such, yeah. But for me, it was like, I want to essentially see if I can make it on my own first to sort of get that respect from the elders and the grandparents. Otherwise, like no matter what I do, if I just join, it'll be like 30 years before they even give me any control or anything. It'll just always be like, no, you're the child, you're the kid, no matter how it doesn't matter. So I sort of figured, okay, you know what? Let me just go outside and venture off my own first. So I got my first job in Australia when I was in college. I was doing sales. And I was literally on the telephone selling cold call. Selling Telstra, Optus, which is like a phone package, essentially internet packages, cable TV packages, and mobile phone packages. And I just got so used to rejection. That's how I just developed this mindset, this ability to just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? If you try it, you lose a little bit of time, but you'll end up in the same place you were anyway. So at least you know that opportunity and that road is closed, sort of thing, right? So that's sort of how I developed it. The first company I started was again, it was just like going for it mentality, where I joined a startup weekend. Startup weekend, I don't know if you've heard of them before. Startup weekend? Yeah, startup weekend. So there are these short sprint, 4 to 5 days or 3 to 5 days, where you put developers, graphic designers, business guys, or entrepreneurs, whoever it is. You invite everyone into one room, and then either you already have an existing idea or an existing team, or you just meet random people and come up with an idea. But you have 3 days to develop it, do a really basic proof of concept, and then pitch it to the judge. It's literally called start something over a weekend, essentially. And it used to be really big for a couple of years early in the 2010s to get people to get this, to use this idea of move fast, learn quick, fail fast mentality. So I joined Startup Weekend. We came up with an idea with 3 random people I'd never met before in my life at that event, and in second place at that event. And from there, the judges, one of them was an investor as well, and called me for a meeting a week later and said, "We like your idea. We'll buy your idea for $50,000. We'll take 50% of the company." Yeah. And yeah, exactly. And that's how it started. And from there, it just sort of snowballed. So that idea, which is then a PowerPoint presentation, went from a PowerPoint over to an idea. And from that idea, it went over to funding about $50,000 investment. I started getting a salary from the company, and then but it was the first company, so I didn't know how to structure the deal or anything like that. I was just very happy to get $50,000 off the problem. Yeah. And
I checked your LinkedIn background, and did you start with e-commerce?
Yeah. So that idea became e-commerce for pets, and then from pets it went over to babies and over to health vitamins, supplements, and cosmetics and other female-friendly products. Because I realized very early on that the majority of customers buying online were actually female, at least in my domain of websites, and they were buying at a very high retention rate as well. And their average basket size was much higher than that of Lazada. Lazada's average basket had 300 Thai baht, mine is 1,000 Thai baht, so five-fold. And we were keeping the customers for longer because we were selling them items that they would buy on repeat cycles. So baby products, health vitamins, supplements, cosmetics, pet food. all these are items you need to be like replenished on a regular cycle, and they kept coming back and they kept coming back. We sort of scaled that, and eventually became called Urami after a couple of mergers and acquisitions and rebranding. By that time, I'd been diluted down a lot of the company and the founder. Fair enough. We did a lot of mergers as well, so there are a lot of other people in the mix now, a lot of people on the table. By then, essentially, I decided to leave the company. I sort of saw where the trend of e-commerce was going. If you weren't number one, you were not going to make it. Simple as that.
So Lazada and all that.
Correct. Those guys had billions of dollars in funding. We had like $20-30 million, which is like a drop in the bucket. And it was their like our entire budget was their monthly marketing budget. So
I mean, it's still impressive though. Like,
yeah, we grew to some time. So I actually wanted to stay in the niche categories of products and stay within pets and babies and health vitamins, supplements, and cosmetics. But unfortunately, when you do a lot of mergers and acquisitions, a lot of pets come into the table, and they wanted to expand into other categories of products, which made the marketplace become a lot more generic and a lot more competing against Lazada as opposed to like being true to the core. If we were true to our core, I still think today would have worked because you're sticking to your core verticals, you create content around it, you create a following around it, you can do subscription models and logistics and things that really cater to that particular industries, right? As opposed to just doing a general marketplace like Lazada and Shopee are, where no matter what they do, their filtration systems, their sorting, and their content is never going to be as accurate or as proper as yours for those kind of product categories. So left that company and I took my e-commerce skill set and knowledge and started another company called Frank. Insurance.
It's a completely different industry.
It is a different industry, but the way I look at it, when I'm selling e-commerce, I'm just selling a different product. So for me, I didn't really care what the product was. I wanted to sell a product that nobody else was selling online before, and nobody was selling insurance online. So I was like, okay, let's try it out.
Wow. Okay. And it worked out well.
It worked out well, yes. We got some investors from Hong Kong, founders, just an extension group, and eventually exited that company in 2020 Voltec. At that time, Voltec didn't even have a name yet. It was just like a project under the FWD brand. And eventually they got a name for themselves, Voltec, and they announced their acquisition. We were their first company that they acquired, one of the first companies that they acquired. So today they're still using the platform that I built. My tech team, my CTO, stayed on with the company. He's still there building a platform for it. So the base of Voltec, InsurTech Exchange is what I do.
How did you actually like end up selling your business to Voltec? Like, did you meet them at like an event or cold email?
Pacific Century Group was an investor in our company from the start. Pacific Century was also the owners of FWD. So when they sort of saw that what we were doing and the platform we were building was decent enough, where they're like, okay, they can combine that with the FWD IPO story at that time and say, you know what, we're now also in the digital tech space to get a higher multiple on the FWD side. So that's actually how the whole concept of Voltec started. And we were the perfect platform to acquire, and it gave them like a baseline of like sales, customers, direct consumer play, B2B platform in one country that was expandable to it.
So, like, how many years did it take?
5 years.
5 years plus.
5 years. Then I stayed on with Voltec for another 2 years, and eventually left the company at the end of 2021. And took a break for a little while. Did some like just zoned out for a little bit.
What made you want to like quit Voltec?
It's just not the environment that was suited for an entrepreneur. I think that's the best way to put it. It's suited for a lot of corporates, and that's their style. That's perfectly fine.
I mean, they're huge.
They are huge, but they're also derived from multiple corporations put together. So it's growth by acquisition, right? When you have funding from the Century Group at that, $200 million, $30 million from seed, you're going to be able to grow like that. So when a company like that starts acquiring other companies left, right, and center, including ours, you get a lot of strong entrepreneurial mindsets and heads in the kitchen. And then you also add players like ex-corporate guys from FWD, Generali, Manulife, and other companies to come into the organization. It creates a recipe where it's a mess. It became a mess very, very quickly. And it's gonna it was a young company, and that's to be expected from every young company, but it's not to be expected from a young company of that size, because most young companies aren't at the size of Multex. Right? Most young companies are like 10, 12 people. Multex regional office is already like 50 people, 100 people.
Was it your goal from when you founded Frank? To exit as an M&A?
I think the goal of every company when you start it up is to exit eventually, right? Whether it's IPO, whether it's you sell the company out, or you just let someone else run it and make it profitable, and then live off the dividends or anything like that, right? That's always the end goal for a lot of people. So yeah, I looked at it that way for sure.
How did it feel when you were able to exit?
Bittersweet. Always bittersweet. Because it's one of those things where you have to realize that when you're selling the company, you're letting go of your baby. And when you let go of your baby, you have no control over it. But you're still there while it's running. So that took me a long time to come to terms with. Actually, almost 6 to 8 months to finally let go that this is no longer. Yeah.
So now you have your own baby now again.
Yeah, another baby that started off. Yeah, pretty much.
So, like, what made you want to start another startup after having a break?
So during the break, it was never, like as an entrepreneur, I guess you never really just breaking. Like, I wish I could do what you're doing, traveling around the world or something. I've got a wife and 2 kids, so it's unlikely it'll ever happen, like, unless I want a divorce. It's not gonna happen. Yeah. So what do you call it? Yeah, during that time, essentially, I was trying out different ideas. Trying what worked, but it was fun because there was no pressure from anybody as such. I was doing a couple of consulting contracts that were paying the bills at home. At the same time, it was like, okay, let's try this out, try that out. So I tried, cryptocurrency mining for a while. I got into cryptocurrency mining quite heavily. Actually, we built mining infrastructure for a lot of people. We sourced the equipment, built it, managed it, all the way from like ASIC mining to graphic card mining. So it was more for me. I would put myself as a trader and a service provider as opposed to like mining a lot myself. So I had my own rigs, obviously, but at the same time, my main core was like, okay, building these rigs out for other people who wanted to mine their own mining cryptocurrency rigs and infrastructures and things like that. So help them do out their whole system planning as well as like electricity planning, location planning, all that stuff, and then actual sourcing, assembly, building, implementation of the rigs. I took care of all that stuff. It was like a 1-man, 2-man operation. Yeah.
And you got more than
Yeah. Actually, initially it was a 1-man operation, then I got one of my friends involved, became a 2-man operation. Sales almost doubled. But then cryptocurrencies also started crashing at that time. So it was, I think we made off like, okay, we didn't lose money. We quit a little bit, but we stopped at the right time, yeah. Or we made a decision to not expand at the right time as well, because there was a point where it was still looking like, when the cryptocurrency market started dropping a little bit, like, oh, these things that were high price are now becoming cheaper, should we just go buy them up? That's a very scary a time, because like when you see this here and it drops down a little bit here, you're like, oh, we should sweep everything up here because we'll go back there. Correct. And luckily we made that decision not to at that time. Yeah. We had the plan in place. We were going to go out and take loans and everything like that as well, because to actually scale it up. So thank God we did it, because we were like, you know what, it didn't feel right to me. I'm like, something is off. Like, let's just hold off for a second. Let's see what's going to happen. We have this much. Our rates are earning like almost $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month. That's very decent. Our clients are happy right now. Let's just slow down a little bit.
So after that you started another company?
Yeah. So after that, I was like, okay, let's see if we can get back to insurance some way. So then I started eating digital with one of my employees and Frank actually, and both she was my head of operations there. And when I told her I was going to start something in the insurance space again, she's like, she's like, yes. So during that time that I was having a break around 5-6 months, she was working in another company. As soon as I told her I was going to start something, she quit her job. And came to join me straight away. And I'm like, look, I can't pay you a salary. I'll give you equity in the company, and I'll pay you like half your salary that you were getting before. But the moment we fundraise and we complete everything, I'll double your salary back up to where it's supposed to be. And she's like, yeah, that's fine.
but that's totally because you were successful once and you built trust already. And your personality goes for it.
When you're an investor, what does that say? Like, you know, what do you call it? The history of the stock is just an indication of what might happen, not what can happen, or something along the lines of that. Yeah. In the first 6 to 8 months, like I was building this, an idea essentially, where we were trying to do something that, how do you put it, didn't pan out as I thought it would. The idea itself, it was a referral network. So essentially, what I wanted to do was convert every single customer to become an agent of an insurance company without having to go through legal licenses and everything like that. So you could actually start selling insurance policies right now. We're not selling, referring insurance policies, but it became a lot more complex than you don't select an industry to focus on, and it started going a lot of places. So we started, we decided to scale back that idea and say, you know what, we need to solve another problem, because this problem, like, we need to convince people that this problem actually exists first, number one, and then that we are the best solution for it. So if you have to convince them of both those things, it becomes very, very hard. You have to convince them of the idea, then you have to convince them that you're the best person to use it. So we started looking for another problem that was a lot more obvious, and the one we landed on was that insurance companies don't have agency management platforms properly. They don't know how to manage the agents and brokers properly. They do it very well manually. A lot of their sales come from there, but they don't have a system to help them do any of those things. And that's what we're helping with.
So it's a SaaS product.
And that's how we ended up where we are.
You already have had $1 billion investment recently. And isn't that pretty rare for like a founder of high tech to do that, like a seed round?
It doesn't happen very often, but it's been known to happen. I would say like I'm probably one of the people who've been able to get that level of seed funding. So touch wood on that. It's pretty decent. Yeah.
That's very nice. Do you think of like? I know like you did business internationally as well, like in previous companies too. But are you thinking of doing this, expanding this, scaling this internationally?
Very much so. I want to be able to take this platform to any country, to be honest, as long as they're able to sell the product. Our platform is designed to help that solution. So from our perspective, because we were agents at, for example, Bolting and Frank, I was an agent, I was a broker. As an agent and a broker, we're essentially solving that problem by creating this platform out there. Because the platform allows the agents and brokers to quote, to look at their dashboards, to see their referrals, their campaigns, their promotions that are available to them, the content media, provide them an electronic business card that is validated by the insurance companies themselves. So all of these things are tools designed to help agents sell more. And these were tools that I needed as an agent and broker, and some of them I built myself. Some of them I relied on other people to build or use. And essentially I'm consolidating all that into my own platform and selling it to the insurance companies so they can launch it with their agents. And I see this problem in multiple countries, not just in
I'm sure, like in Japan too. Like I'm not really.
From what I understand so far, the Japanese market is actually heavily reliant on agents.
My viewers, would it be better if you want to be like connected to like related to insurance agencies?
Initially, yes, insurance. So we are working with some Japanese clients in Thailand now, actually. So Tokyo Marine is one of our clients. They're a Japanese company.
That's a big
correct, and that's a big contract for us as well. And we also have a German company called Ergo, who is one of our clients as well. They have presence in Thailand and a few other countries as well. So we are definitely getting there, considering that we're still a young SaaS player. Most SaaS companies actually take from a recent article, 18 months to 5 years to find product market fit. And they're spending a ton of that time developing platforms and having a large team before they start getting the bulks of revenues in. And here we are, essentially 8 months into our development cycle, because the first version of the platform that we built was a referral. By the time I pivoted all that and redid everything, it was like February, January. By the time I got a CTO in March, and then April we started building out properly, and now it's October, and we already completed a POC with Tokyo Marine, and now we are heading into production with them. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's quite fast, but I still think sometimes not fast enough for me because I'm so used to direct to consumer and selling like instantly.
Oh yeah.
The instant gratification there. Yeah. The B2B sales cycles are very very long.
Ever thought of like moving to like Singapore and doing business because I have this image that they're more international enterprise business in Singapore.
Our company is set up in Singapore, so we have our headquarters in Singapore and then operating in Thailand. So our fundraising and everything is actually done in Singapore.
So do you go to Singapore often?
I was just there like 3-4 weeks ago, yeah. And I just came back from Hong Kong yesterday. So I think being in Bangkok allows me to travel to all those places fairly quickly as well. Like I could literally be in Singapore for like a lunch meeting if you gave me like 1 day to do it.
To the US? Or?
Not yet. I think our product needs to be at a certain level before we can do that. It's still very early in the product stage. We are able to do the POCs. We're able to have the core functionality in place. So from our platform, you can do quotations. You can have the entire workflow management tool. You have the promotions and campaigns, dashboarding functionality, but there's still so many other modules that we need to build out before our platform becomes even like 70% complete. Right, I think at that stage is the right time to be able to take our product forward because we are not just going with an idea of the product, we're going with a product that's working. It's been proven with a couple of insurance companies, and we have traction to prove it, as well as built out modules where they can choose from. It's quite
Are most people like you, like successful founders like you in Thailand, are they all like from like an international background? I just don't feel like many of them are from like the U.S. universities.
I've seen some local co-founders that have done SMG well. There are definitely a couple. But I guess the ones I know of also end up being more from an international school background. I think I don't know whether that is a derivative of the fact that I come from that background, so that's just my circle of friends, or is it just the entire market? I think I'm definitely able to market myself a little bit better internationally because I can speak the language, I understand how to market easily, as well as how to connect with people like yourself, right? A lot of local founders don't know how to do that or are too afraid to try. So they tend to stay very local and their businesses become less startups, more SMEs.
Is this because they learn from the local businesses?
You're a product of your bubble, right? So if I keep expanding my bubble, then I'm always going to be ahead of the curve a little bit. Yeah. I guess it's going to make sense.
So is it different in Singapore?
I think Singapore itself is very... You've got so many expats living in Singapore. Like, who do you consider Singaporean? Right?
Do you think you're like Indian background, like coming out?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely do. I think to some extent Indians are a lot more entrepreneurial. They're a lot more business savvy than a lot of other cultures. I would say similar to like Chinese as well to some extent. We try to see opportunities. We try to to engage with those opportunities and see what they can come out of it a lot more. And maybe it comes from the confidence. Maybe it comes from just so what mentality. I don't know.
So like, would you be like interested in like meeting corporates and like investors, like startups in Japan?
I think I'd be more interested in meeting potential clients and startups who can help me scale there as well, or even honestly like SaaS platform distributors, system integrators who are in the country who already have clients and insurance companies who are looking for new platforms to roll out with their existing client base. That would be like the perfect type of partnership or something like that. Because
do you have any questions on like them?
From what I know, the insurance market in Japan is absolutely massive. I know that already. In fact, it is one of the companies that it is one of the countries that we're targeting. It wasn't one of the first ones on top of my list, to be very fair, because it's not as close as Philippines or Malaysia or Indonesia in terms of geographic locations. I always knew language is a barrier as well. I've been to Japan a couple of times, and I've seen that without a translator app, it's almost impossible to get around there if you don't speak the local language. But there is opportunity to be had there because I know like if you successfully run a company there or have a startup idea that has some sort of traction there, the funding comes fairly easily. There are people looking to invest money there, and a country that is as advanced from an external perspective, everyone views Japan as one of the most advanced. I know that there are a lot of things that are still very inherently done think that's you know, thanks for having me on your channel, I guess.
Thank you so much for letting me have you on.